Hello, friends. Welcome to Edgemont UMC Online. I'm Pastor Henry, and welcome to our final video in our Bible study on John's letters. This is another bonus. Today we're going to be looking at the letter of 3rd John. Another letter, really short, really concise, and one that we don't spend a lot of time on, which it is a bit of a shame because there's some interesting things that we can learn from this, especially about church history. It's real easy for us in our modern times to think about the trouble we have in the church and to long for the good old days. Especially for the good old days, as thinking of right as the church started. This letter points to a little more of a reality, which to me can be comforting because it gives us a little bit of hope for us as the church today, knowing that some of these struggles are what we've had to deal with for a long time, struggles that come with people. But with all that being said, let's jump into 3rd John. I'm going to be reading from the NRSV, the Wesley Study Bible I've showed y'all in the past. Going to be reading that today. And this is to the elder, to the beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health, just as it is well with your soul. I was overjoyed when some of the friends arrived and testified to your faithfulness to the truth, namely how you walk in the truth. I have no greater joy than this, to hear that my children are walking in the truth. Beloved, you do faithfully whatever you do for the friends, even though they are strangers to you. They have testified to your love before the church. You will do well to send them on in a manner worthy of God, for they began their journey for the sake of Christ, accepting no support from non-believers. Therefore, we ought to support such people so that we may be co-workers with the truth. I have written something to the church, but Diotrephes, who likes to put himself first, does not acknowledge our authority. So if I come, I will call to attention what he is doing in spreading false charges against us. And not content with those charges, he refuses to welcome the friends and even prevents those who want to do so and expels them from the church. Beloved, do not imitate what is evil, but imitate what is good. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. Everyone has testified favorably about Demetrius, and so has the truth itself. We also testify for him so that you know our testimony is true. I have much to write you, but I would rather not write it with pen and ink. Instead, I hope to see you soon, and we will talk together face to face. Peace to you. The friend sends you their greetings. Greet the friends there, each by name. This is this is a really interesting little book. It's a letter from the elder, who we believe is the Apostle John, to apparently one of his students or one of his proteges, one of the ones he discipled, Gaius, who he calls beloved. And we now see the flow that's been going on in these letters of John. You had 1st John, which could have been a letter to any church in the region and one that could go throughout. We had the letter of 2nd John, which was to a particular congregation. And then we have this letter to a particular person, Gaius. And we get a good personal look into the elder and, into things that were going on in the early church. The elder was proud and he took time to take this letter to encourage his former student, his former disciple, who is now apparently working in a church as the church leader or one of the church leaders in that local area. And apparently news had made its way back to the elder that Gaius was upholding one of those important values in the ancient world, but especially in ancient Christendom, and that's hospitality, specifically Christian hospitality to missionaries and to traveling teachers, to those who were going out to take the gospel to the places where it needed to be taken, to places where the teaching was needed, but they didn't necessarily have a way to take care of themselves along the way. And they're not wanting to ask for money or support from as it says here, the non-believers. So they asked local churches for support. And Gaius had obviously been very generous and very helpful to those. And word had made its way back to John at his home church. But then we have the next part, which you'd probably say is one of the core pieces. I guess you could say that 3 John has a few little core pieces. One, he's extolling Gaius for the good work he's doing. And he's getting particular that this good work comes from his showing hospitality. But now we get to the kind of anti-showing hospitality, which is this Diotrephes, who is apparently a leader who has fallen in love with being a leader and the value that can be brought from being out in front. So he is not letting anyone come speak. He's not showing hospitality. He's not giving support to those who are faithful leaders in the church. And there's apparently been some strong disagreement between the elder and Diotrephes, one that's going to have to be settled in person. And while this can be difficult to read, at the same time, as I say, I take a little bit of comfort in that because we've had these problems in the churches. Dare I say, you who are watching this video have probably been in the church for a minute. Or if you're not in a church currently, you have been. You understand what's going on here. There have been conflicts in the church. It may have caused you to go from one church or another, or maybe you had to weather a storm in your church. That's what's going on here. This is not a new problem. Unfortunately, the fact that people are involved mean that there are going to be difficulties like this. But we have to be encouraged to stand firm that we are going to make it through this. I think that this letter's presence in the biblical canon is a testimony to that perseverance. At the same time, we get a positive testimony about the next one, Demetrius, who you could guess that he's probably the one who is bringing this letter. And this testimony that the elder is giving about Demetrius is letting him know, hey, he's okay. He's a good one. You should receive him well. But there's a great reminder, from, and it's in verse 11, that really is one of those themes that carries throughout the entire letters of John. Each letter references this. Beloved, do not imitate what is evil, but imitate what is good. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. When we do good, as the other letters talk about, when we show love, particularly when we're showing love to our brothers and sisters in Christ, we are showing that we belong to God and that we are living by the example that he has called us to do. And much like the other one, he ends with a very similar ending. He has much to tell him, but he wants to do this in person. So this is all he's going to say and think. Again, think about this more of a postcard than a letter. But this is an encouragement. You're doing well. Stay strong in what you're doing. I'm going to help with some of these situations that you are facing. May the Lord's peace be with you. Thank you so much for joining with us over these past several weeks as we've looked through all the letters of John. If you have any questions or lingering thoughts you'd like to share, please drop a question or a comment on this video, and I would love to hear from you. If there's something you might be looking to study that we could do in the future, feel free to drop me an email at henry.prater@umcna.org. Love to hear from you. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.